What's up, all you true believers and newcomers alike? I'm Superfly Comics Guy, and I'm bringing you another Omnibus review today. If you remember a while back, we took a look at The Amazing Spider-Man by David McFarlane and Todd McFarlane Omnibus. So today, I thought we'd take a look at the spin-off series, Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane. The series where Todd McFarlane got to do the art and the writing. Also sometimes referred to as adjectiveless Spider-Man, but is it really adjectiveless if you put the word adjectiveless in front of the title? Anyway, we'll be taking a look at the cover, the spine, the contents collected, the build quality, and a flip through where I discuss my own thoughts, opinions, and recommendations on the book. So, I hope you'll jump on the Todd train and join me as we take a look at this book. Let's go. Alrighty people, so here you are looking at one of the direct market variants for this book, which also happens to be the cover to Spider-Man number 13. There is a standard cover available for the book, and another direct market variant of the book featuring Spider-Man and Wolverine. For me, had to go with this one, and I had some friends help me out with that decision, so thank you very much to those fine folks. There is the spine for you. And the back. There you got your cover gallery, and this collects Spider-Man the 1990 series 1 through 14, number 16, and X-Force number 4. But Comics Guy, why don't we get Spider-Man number 15 in here? Well, that is a good question. That's because Spider-Man number 15 was actually drawn by Eric Larson, so that means you don't get it in this book. Shut up! But anyway, this book has a cover price of $75 US, 95 Canadian. I think I picked this up for like 50% off of in-stock trades when they were having a sale, so very happy with that. You ready for this? You want to see one of the coolest wraparound covers ever? Let's take a look under the dust jacket. And look at that. Isn't that one of the coolest things you have ever seen? A huge wraparound cover by the Todd father himself. A recolored version of one of the panels you'll see in this book, and I think it was used as one of the covers for one of the, I think, hardcover collections of Spider-Man Torment, which is one of the series included in here. But there you go. Let's start taking a flip through. Alright, so starting to dive through this book. No spoilers as usual, but keep in mind I am flipping through the art, so you might see minor spoilers there, but that's about it. I won't talk about spoilers. You have a table of contents here, which is nice, but this book doesn't have page numbers, so good luck figuring out which page is number 244, for example. Come on, Marvel. What are you doing? But anyway, here we are. Spider-Man, the 1990 series, Todd McFarlane's first time writing and drawing Spider-Man. And honestly, this page right here will tell you everything you need to know about this entire book, because you are just getting some spectacular artwork. But it's Todd McFarlane's first time writing the character, so his name, Spider-Man, his powers, extraordinary, his webline, advantageous. You're getting some, it's a little rough around the edges, but I mean, I think it's worth it just for how cool the artwork is in this book. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I can tell you a bit of backstory of this series, just because, I don't know, I like talking about that. So up until now, Todd McFarlane had been working as the artist alongside David McFarlane on the Amazing Spider-Man title, which is the main Spider-Man series. But he was starting to get a little bit unsatisfied with how little creative freedom he felt he had. He felt he had to stick too rigidly to other people's scripts and plots, and he was considering leaving the book, possibly even leaving Marvel as well. But, you know, that was sending some alarm bells to Marvel, because Todd was a big selling point by that point. His art was drawing in a lot of people, so they said, wait. What if we create a new Spider-Man book, call it Spider-Man, and you can be the artist and do the plot and the writing. And then you can pretty much do, you know, whatever you want. So Todd was like, that sounds good. I think I'll do that. And he stuck around, and we just got some crazy looking artwork here. If you just came off of reading The Amazing Spider-Man by David Michelinie and Todd McFarlane Omnibus, you will notice an immediate difference here. Just in the detail of the drawings, just the maturity of the stories, honestly, and like the panel layouts. Like, look at this stuff. This is laid out completely different compared to the more traditionally laid out Amazing Spider-Man artwork that he was doing. And speaking of maturity, this first story here, Spider-Man Torment, wow. Notoriously one of the darkest Spider-Man stories ever told, and probably the best part of this book, at least in my opinion. And I really enjoyed that because you don't really get a lot of like dark, gritty Spider-Man stories, and that was really nice to see. Just, a little bit of breath of fresh air from the typically, I guess, campy, lighthearted Spider-Man stories. But look at this stuff. This is awesome. This first story arc here, Spider-Man Torment, focuses heavily on the Lizard. And one of Todd's, one of the points he makes is he doesn't want to repeat what other people have done. He didn't just want to do another Lizard story where like, oh, it's Doc Connors and he's struggling with his humanity and he turns into the Lizard and Spidey's got to cure him. No. There's some mysterious killings happening. Turns out the Lizard is involved and Spider-Man just has to figure out a way to stop him. I don't think you even get Kurt Connors in here from what I remember. It's just a brutal, savage version of the Lizard that really pushes Spider-Man to his limits. So, Todd's not doing a traditional Lizard story, he's making a monster story. And that's something he's very, very good at, if you're familiar with some of his other work. Because, the next arc you get in here involves the Hobgoblin and Ghost Rider. And like I said, Todd is excellent at drawing just grotesque, creepy-looking monsters. So you can see how he draws Hobgoblin, and let me see if I can find, where is our boy? Yeah, there's Ghost Rider. You can see Todd is really great at drawing those types of characters. Just look at these crazy Spidey poses. You gotta love them. This will really remind you, if you're familiar with some of Todd's later work, you can see the beginnings of Spawn, the style of the artwork of Spawn in here kind of coming into play. So it's really cool for that reason too. The next arc you get is called Perceptions, with this cover featuring Spidey at his thickest. This one wasn't particularly memorable, but again, cool artwork, and you just get a cool team up with Wolverine as well, so you get to see Todd McFarlane draw Wolverine. I mean, look, the writing is whatever. But it's just an excuse for Todd to draw cool stuff that he wants to draw. So he's really just having fun with it, and that's kind of all you should expect. I mean, if you're expecting Shakespearean level writing that'll really make you question your existence, this isn't the book for you. But if you're looking for a cool story where Spider-Man and Wolverine have to work together to track down a mysterious monster in the Canadian wilderness, well, then maybe this book is for you, because you're getting some cool artwork. The next arc you get is called Sub-City, featuring that black suit costume cover. And look at this. Like, this looks so much like Spawn artwork. But, this isn't a particularly memorable story either. But Spidey has to track down some sewer monsters, and it's really just an excuse for him to wear the legendary black costume again. Even though he promised MJ, he's like, oh, I'm not going to wear this anymore. Screw it, it looks cool. I just want to draw some cool stuff, said Todd. So there you go. And the book ends with a couple of crossover issues with X-Force, and you get some sideways panels, which I don't really like. This is probably the weakest part of the book. I don't really remember much about it. The book really kind of becomes weaker the longer it goes on, kind of peters out, no pun intended, towards the end. But, I mean, it's all right. And then the X-Force issue is drawn by Rob Liefeld, and look, I'm not here to dunk on Rob Liefeld's artwork. Enough people have done that already, but Rob Liefeld, you know, he has his style, and he sticks to it. He was very much an artist that the 90s needed, I suppose. Fit that style, so love him or hate him, he was successful in what he did. But this particular story wasn't for me. And then you have our beloved extras section featuring oh so many variant covers. I think that Spider-Man #1 had like upwards of 10 variant covers when that issue first came out in 1990. Crazy stuff. You do get some cool things though here, some excerpts from various creators. There was one by Todd McFarlane previously. This was interesting. It's like a Marvel trivia quiz, and it's actually pretty difficult. Some of these questions I was like, what, who? I don't know what you're talking about. But also, some of the answers in the answer key are just completely wrong. For example, whose first appearance in Marvel Comics was with the words, "Tiger, you just hit the jackpot." Everybody knows that that's Mary Jane Watson, right? But apparently, according to this answer key, it was the White Tiger. What? No. Whatever you say, guys. And you get what looks like some not Brand X stuff. Profile on Todd McFarlane. Lots of cool stuff in here. Whole bunch of Todd McFarlane artwork. Look at all these variants. Oh, gotta stop every time I see that image. It's just so friggin' cool the way they recolored it. There's our boy Ghost Rider. Wolverine. Awesome stuff. One thing I skimmed past that I do really want to show you is this bit right here. In that X-Force issue, originally, Todd McFarlane had drawn Juggernaut to have his eye stabbed by a character's sword. But Marvel was like, no, you can't do that. That's too gory for us to show. And he was forced to redraw it a much more PG way. And, you know, that was one of the reasons that led Todd to leaving Marvel. He was just tired of being told what to do, wanted to do his own thing, have his own freedom. So he left and he formed Image Comics with a bunch of other creators. And that led to the creation of Spawn, and the rest is history, right? Let's take a quick look at the build quality. 440 pages is what you're getting in this omnibus. Very tiny omnibus and an almost non-existent eye. Not that you really need one, it being such a small book, like, you're not really losing much art in the gutters anyway. Like, let me flip back to that first splash page I showed you. Like, you're losing a little bit, but not much. So, it's not too bad. Page quality, it's not terrible. Could be a little thicker. A lot of this artwork is just so dark in color, though, that you're not really seeing much page bleed, so it's not the end of the world. But it lays over pretty flat, very easy to read, not too much of an issue. But alright people, just wrapping up here really quickly. Would I recommend this book? Well, it depends who you are. If you're a fan of Todd McFarlane, or 90s art in general, or if you're a Spider-Man mega fan or completionist, then I would recommend this book because that's exactly what you're getting. Or even if you're a fan of like early Spawn material, yeah, for sure, because the artwork you're getting in here is fantastic. It'll be right up your alley, and I think it'll be really cool for you to see. If you're someone who's looking for super strong writing, or you're more of a casual Spidey fan, only looking for the best stories across his history, then I think it's safe to skip this one, especially because it's a tiny omnibus. It's only 440 pages, but it still costs 75 US or 95 Canadian, so I mean, it's more expensive per page, so up to you. But that'll do it for my review of the Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane Omnibus. I hope you enjoyed it or found it helpful. Let me know your thoughts on this omnibus, or Let me know if you were a reader in the 90s when this series was coming out, because, hey, I wasn't alive back then. And from what I hear, this series was huge at the time. I think Spider-Man #1, the first issue of this series, sold millions of copies. It was a big deal at the time. So if you have any cool stories from back then, hey, feel free to share them. That would be neat. But thank you so much for checking out this review today. I hope to catch you in another one real soon. So you have yourself a great day. I've been Superfly Comics Guy, and until next time, keep reading. Bye, guys.